Gamer's Garage.
You know New York, you need New York, you know you need unique New York. That's one of my favorites. You know New York, you know you need unique New York. Wow.
Why do you know these off the top of your head?
Because he's El Jizzle. Duh.
Everything. My dame hath a lame tame crane, my dame hath a crane that is lame. O gentle Jane, doth my dame's lame tame crane leave and come home again? I tell you.
Insane in the membrane.
Can't stop the train, baby. Woo!
Out there, and welcome to the 15th round of the Losers Bracket, hosted by the Gamers Garage and recorded by VVV Gaming. Right now we have esports news, and first we're going to get started with the WCG Fight Club results that happened this past weekend.
Well, let me jump in there and congratulate both Fighting GM and NYC Fab for coming down to the wire there, and Fighting GM pulled it out, so that's really good. Which, honestly, this reminds me of an interesting story, if I can jump right in here. As most of you know, we had been working with our very own ever so popular, God, I forget his name now. What the heck is the name? Oh, Real Law. That's his name. I almost forgot his name because he loses all the time. Now, normally I don't pick on somebody we've picked up in VV Gaming and then pick on him. But I got to tell you all a little story. So after, basically being 0-2 for the most part in Orlando, he wins one, loses, gets eliminated. Real Law comes to me and asks me, hey, Lord Jareth, can I get VV to cover a plane ticket for me to go to the Midwest? Because, Midwest players suck, and I can win there and get a seed for EVO. And I paused for a moment thinking, how fucking old are you? You're 30 fucking years old. You got wiped in Orlando. You got wiped at home at the WCG Fighter Club. And what, do you want to get a seed at EVO so you can get wiped there too? Am I missing something here?
No, I don't. I'm not too sure exactly what happened with all of his spark and his charisma with his skill, but it just seems to have not been there for Orlando. I don't know if it was just a new setting, new environment, but I mean, there wasn't a crowd to be stressed upon. Like sometimes people get nervous with a big crowd behind them. There was none of that. It was nothing too bad. Obviously it's Tekken. And then I'm not too sure what the excuse is at Fight Club, but it seems to me like he's just lost his kind of spark.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what at the end of the day he's really going for there, because if you ask me, I think that he clearly in many ways, he lost to Fire in the losers bracket. I mean, there really wasn't much we could do about it. You know what I'm saying? You just look at that and you're like, well, that's awfully silly. So, I'm not trying to pick on him, but I'm saying, look, if you come to me asking for a free plane ticket, do it after you've won or placed top 4. Don't do it when you get slapped. And then you get slapped the following weekend, and then he writes on Facebook, oh, I feel disrespected. You know what? Here's my challenge to you. You listen to my voice. You feel disrespected? Go fuck yourself. There you go. There's your disrespect. Moving along, the VV Gears League, we got, I think, how many teams do we have now? I think we're up 13. To 13, right? Something like that. Well, I only really wanted 8, so having 13 is fantastic. If there's a lot more, we'll up the prize money. But I just want to make sure everybody plays with the settings. We get plenty of footage, and we show everybody that we run it right. So I wanted to keep it really manageable in the beginning. So all in all, things are well. But, oh, my God, Rapture, what is it with people arguing with you over these settings?
I don't know. Everybody likes to argue with me about stuff. Maybe it's not just me, but the fact that I'm for the settings. I had a good argument with somebody named Slim Krim for a very long time, and a lot of people. It was very entertaining to watch, especially for myself, because when you get to a point when you're arguing with somebody over the internet about something like that, and it is clear that his side isn't doing that very well. It's sort of fun for me. I like to know that I'm winning.
It's nice to kick a dog when they're down. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's nice to throw them over the cliff and watch the sharks eat them.
All right, I got you. Well, Jason, for all those Gears of War fans out there, do you have any doubt it will be a good league?
No, because I'm running it. Oh, God, was that cocky?
No, that's good. That's how you roll.
No, exactly, because we've got a very knowledgeable staff here. It's not just me. It won't be just me running the show. There's a ton of great people here that are going to be behind the scenes working their hardest to manage this league, to make sure that it goes off without a hitch. I'm really excited for it. I think that this is a huge opportunity for esports in general. Gears of War has always been a very competitive game, and this is going to be a very fun league. I say we cap the league at 16 teams because that way it's, perfectly even in the brackets. So 3 more teams, if you're listening to this right now, sign up. I want to see you competing in this. I am very stoked to help run this.
Well, they're only going to have about, 3 days left. So, the 9th is the deadline to get your team signed up. I get these questions keep asking how large the roster can be. And it's in there that a team is 4 people with up to 2 subs. And you're allowed to change your roster. If you want to drop somebody from your roster and pick somebody up, that's fine. But somebody else asked me something like, can a player play on 2 rosters? I don't think I'd have to explain this to anybody, but hey, if you want somebody from another team to play on your team in a match, go the fuck right ahead. Right? I think that would be fantastic. I think that's great. But little bit of advice, it's best to not pick up people who have no interest in your team's success. Right? That would be my advice. So the bottom line answer to that is during a week, 1 player can only be on 1 roster. Just to make that clear for those who didn't quite get that.
Exactly, because this is actually going to be continued upon time, and it's not just like a one-time event or anything like that. It's an actual league, people. Read the topic headers, read above the shop box. It's going to be a league that VVV is putting together, and it's something good, and it's something for the future of Gears of War. We're keeping Gears alive, and I still see kids all over our forums crying about how Gears of War is dead, it's off MLG circuit. Boo fucking who? Keep crying a freaking river, because I don't care. But what you have here, and you're sitting on our forums, read above the shout box. We are keeping it alive. Why don't you sign up, try to earn 400, and then 800, and then maybe 1200. I'm just baffled by how many kids are still crying, but yet they still have all these opportunities to actually physically play the game. They just don't make sense to me.
Yeah, I understand, Kelly. I mean, I really think a lot of people, it's that same thing again. When you really spend a lot of time and energy on a game, we're going to give people a chance to sort of come back and play it and hopefully have some fun with it. But, when money's on the line and you've got the skill, it's definitely in your best interest to go ahead and play it. And I'll be honest, the settings are fast and furious. There's going to be a lot of players that are not going to like the settings.
Exactly.
Just because they can't sit around and, just toss a bunch of stuns and then beat up on people who can't do anything. It's just not going to work that way.
Exactly. And I was thoroughly sick of seeing that. I'm not even going to tell you how much I was, but I really was. It's more of a rushing situation now, like the old Gears one feeling, okay, we got to get to these power weapons. We have to do that. It's going to count. Your 1v1s are going to count again, because in Gears 2, we all know 1v1s didn't mean shit, because you had your team just sitting there team firing with lancers and your pistols. But it's going to bring back good memories, good feelings, and good spectating. So if you guys do have capture cards and it won't lag you down, cap your matches, because I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of good matches right now.
Well, let me say something right here. Ragdoll sucks. So anybody that's still bitching about that stuff, shut up. We hated Ragdoll, right? And then when we have the opportunity to play without it, why is everybody going back to it? That doesn't make any sense. You want to be glitched around? I don't get it.
Because they're all hypocrite two-fates losers. That's why.
You know what my favorite of all things is, though? I've got to tell you, when I hear the term strategic smokes, that's got to be the best thing I've ever heard.
Who came up with that?
I don't know. Whoever came up with
it. Was Nightmares.
You've got to have
maybe Cubano.
I know Nightmares said that once. Strategic smokes do not exist. I hope you're listening to this, by the way.
Yeah, I hope they are too, because there's no such thing as a strategic smoke. Almost every game where anybody's ever had a grenade, whether it's Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, whatever, Rainbow Six Vegas, most people kind of agreed, right? If you were going to have grenades that could kill or in such a way sort of incapacitate a player to the level that they can't do anything, the game should be much more deadly. Like Gears, right? In this particular case, it's not even just that you stun them, right? You can stun them, run up to them, right, while somebody's shooting at you, trying to stop you, and just kill them. And they call that strategy. I don't call that strategy. I call that noob friendly. And I give Epic a lot of credit for fixing that.
Absolutely. 110%. Good job, Epic.
Speaking of you running the Gears League there, Mr. Jason, talk to me about the Han tournament, and we're getting ready to the FIFA tournament's about to begin. I think that's locked, so talk about all that.
Sure thing. Let me start with the FIFA tournament because we've got all the matches up in the forums. That will be starting this week on the 8th of May. That's going to go up until the 15th. People are going to have a full week for their first match. There's 26 total matches in the first round. All the matches are up in the forum. Feel free to take a look at who you'll be playing if you're in the tournament. All the matches were generated randomly to give everyone a fair shot. 6 players did draw a bye, and they will automatically advance into the next round. That's so that we have an even bracket after the fact. So this is the only round that's going to happen in. But I really think this is going to be a fun tournament as well. Right alongside the Gears League, and the Han tournament's turning out great. There's some really great competition. God, I feel like I've just said the same thing over and over and over, week by week. There is still about a week left in the beta. Go download it. Enjoy the game while it's free. Check out some of the replays from the tournament. There's a ton of great players that are showing off their skills. You could really learn something cool if you want to get into the game, into the genre. S2 has done a wonderful job with the game. Yada, yada, yada. You've heard it all from me before. But yes, all the tournaments are going wonderfully.
Really glad to hear that, Jason. I really am. I'm kind of excited that we've gotten it to this point because we have so much exciting stuff planned yet that I'm not even going to talk about. Matter of fact, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. Let's talk about upcoming games, speaking of tournaments.
I gotta admit, there's one game I really, really want to run a tournament for, and I'm looking forward to this game.
Oh, what's that?
Starcraft 2.
What a surprise.
No way.
Starcraft
Get
2.
out of town.
If you guys have not heard, there is an official street date for StarCraft 2 right now. It's going to be July 27th. I'm guessing the beta is going to end around early June. That's the word at least out on the street right now. But you can get the access to the beta if you don't have it by pre-ordering the game at either GameStop or Best Buy, either one.
I'll just say go pre-order it at GameStop. Not because of anything special, but I don't know why, but GameStop just sounds so much better than Best Buy. Sorry.
Ouch.
Oh,
Sorry.
man.
That's like war right there.
Well, who started the pre-ordering, okay? GameStop did. We win. Okay, thanks.
I started it.
Oh, you're right.
I don't give you your game, though. I just take your money.
How I love you, Dakota.
Well, talking about things that are upcoming, I want to mention to all of you, in case you don't know this, that there is a OnLive. For those of you who don't know what OnLive is, OnLive actually is going to give to the first 25,000 people on their waiting list they're getting the first months, like 3 months of OnLive free. So for those of you out there who are listening, I'm going to try to turn you on to something called OnLive. They call it the future of video games. If you don't know what it is, go to www.onlive.com, and they have a pre-registration offer. Okay? You can't miss it. And basically, they're going to start June 17th, and they're going to have a priority waiting list, and the first qualified 25,000 users who successfully register will have the monthly service fee waived for 3 months, which is currently $14.95, right? So I think, right, that if you're interested in what could be the technology that changes the way people game, I suggest everybody check out onlive.com. And that hurts both Best Buy and GameStop, but, I got to get on the action too.
Doesn't hurt me, though.
No, you're safe.
All right,
You know what does hurt you is that your hero Triforce didn't make the Ultimate Gamer cut, I hear.
Oh man. He didn't. Wasn't feeling it, according to what he said. Wasn't feeling it. I guess the Power Glove wasn't all powered up.
No, I
Kelly,
haven't
this
seen
is
him
your
wearing
area.
it.
Talk to us, Kelly. What do you know?
Just from like rumors and word on the street is that he left 2 days early prior to when normal like top 40 competitors were supposed to leave. Not too sure why, but that's what I've been hearing, and it's quite funny. And from what I saw in Orlando, he wasn't wearing his Power Glove at all. I don't know in Fighters Club. I'm sure he went, obviously, but we need some photo verification of the glove not being there.
No, he wore it one day in Orlando. I think it was day 2.
I didn't see it on. He must have had it in his pocket or something, because I definitely did not see that.
What does his hand look like without it? Like, is it like
dark.
Star Wars, like all messed up?
Now, what I want to know is, do you think we might be like making him feel a little insecure about his Power Glove?
Oh, I'm thinking because Jamal, Jamal from the show, good old Jamal, he went online and made a bunch of videos making fun of each and every one of us. It's just all poking fun, and we all love the dude for it. But he did also make fun of Triforce while he was at it, and who knows, that could have intimidated him or made him feel, a little shameful. And even Jamal went as Triforce for Halloween this
Oh
year.
my.
So that's funny.
You should upgrade the Power Glove.
Pictures
that
are
thing hasn't been
available.
relevant. That thing hasn't been relevant in such a long time. He has to upgrade the Power Glove.
I actually saw someone linked me to a fake Triforce Twitter the other day, and the very first tweet on this was, "Just finished installing Twitter to my Power Glove. I feel the power."
I'm sorry.
Oh
That's
my
beautiful.
God.
Whoever did that,
Maybe he did upgrade. Maybe he did.
that's my applause for you, because you're freaking hilarious.
You know what I was just thinking too, that I think, we pick on Empire, Arcadia, and Triforce so much just because, it's easy. But at some level too, like, how do you, and maybe I should just ask this question. So from the rumors, he goes to LA because he makes the cut. Is that what I hear? Or goes to the audition? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. That is what you hear correctly.
So he goes to the audition in New York, right? And while he's at the audition, he says, "I'm not feeling it," and he goes home. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did not have the power that day.
I guess not. Well, there's a part of me that says, like, well, if you don't feel it, I suppose you can go home. But there's another part of me that goes, you should have just not embarrassed yourself and stayed home in the Ark with your little posters and trophies, and you would have been a lot happier. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, there's just, so much news with them. Just, all this drama. That's all I ever see coming out of the Empire is just, drama after another. And I don't know. I just don't think it's good. And the only thing that came out of the Empire of Arcadia was, Jay Wong and S. Kelly.
M2K? All right.
Oh, yeah.
M2K. I want to comment on that.
There's a few respectable, people in there, but you don't hear about them. It's only about the two people, and I think that's awful. That's what I just don't like about the organization. I only hear about the two biggest names from their organization. And I don't even have to say it. It's just, it's notable, but not respectable.
One of the things I want to talk about, too, before I forget, is that Global Agenda, the MMO that also includes a first-person shooter, has had 2 major updates. And the second one, and they're getting ready for a third major update, but the second major update in Global Agenda included a 4v4 arena. Any of you MMO players listening to me, I'd love to get feedback on the 4v4 Global Agenda arena, and it's a good way to become a guest on the show. So, MMO players, some of you feel left out at times. If you want to get on this show, play Global Agenda 4v4 Arena, and I want to know the pros and the cons. All right, everyone. I am honored to be able to introduce to you Robert Bäckström, who is the producer for Lead and Gold from Fat Chart. Robert, welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you, Robert. We were pleasantly surprised when we had an opportunity to play Lead and Gold, and it's really refreshing. And we took a look at some of the videos that you had done as a production team. And for those who haven't seen it, I want to sort of recap what seemed like a fascinating process, because inside that I got some of the team was MMO players, but they felt that there wasn't a game that they could just sort of hop on and play. And I guess somewhere in there, the idea of Lead and Gold came out. Could you talk about how this idea developed?
Yeah, I mean, you're correct in the assumption that we are MMO players, because, yeah, most of us are MMO players, at least players on multiplayer games. So when we got the chance to develop our own IP, was it like 1.5 years ago, we were really thrilled by the chance to be able to do a multiplayer game. That was like before we even decided on which setting we want to go for, or which part of what type of game. We just knew we want to do a competitive multiplayer game, and then from that foundation or like viewpoint, we started looking into different settings, and we had quite a few ideas up for discussion, like fantasy or World War II or whatever, but we kind of tuned into this Wild West thing, because it's the whole genre, the theme of the Wild West fits into so well with the gang, the small gang warfare or skirmish.
Let me ask this, Robert. When this idea of the multiplayer, I noticed that some members of the team, if I had read correctly, had some experience in working on Ghost Recon and other titles. Can you talk a little bit about the team that you have working with you?
Well, quite a few of the team members have been working either as consultants or as employees at Grin, and with Grin's sad demise, since we've all been working together in different projects, we tried to get as many of the people from Grin to Fat Shark. I mean, Sweden is quite the gaming industry in Sweden is quite small, so a lot of us know each other, even though we work for different companies. So, I mean, that was why we want to bring people together. So, yeah, there's a lot of people from Grin working here. Obviously, Grin developed Ghost Recon 2 and even 1 for PC.
Can you talk to me a little bit about how Fat Shark was formed and how you sort of how the relationship developed between you and Paradox Interactive, who has published the game?
Well, Fat Shark emerged in late 2008. We were approached by Grin to do the rail sequences for the Terminator Salvation game. That's why we decided to form a company of our own rather than just become a subsidiary of Grin. We started to grow the team with the process of making the Terminator Salvation rail sequences. And when those were finished, we were ready to start our own project. And we actually just decided to as I said before, to develop our own IP, and we came quite a bit in the process before we decided to team up with a publisher to make sure that we got the financial strength and backup to actually be able to release a game, which would reach. I mean, a multiplayer game, you need to have a certain player base to be able to survive, and so we had discussions with several publishers, but we decided to keep it local, since Paradox is based in the same city as us, in Stockholm. And yeah, we knew some of the guys before, and they had a good approach to how the game, how games are to be released. And yeah.
That brings me to how the game has been released. Now, I know that right now it is out. Obviously, PC, Steam has put it out there, which is fantastic. It's on the PlayStation 3. Is it also going to be slated for a 360 release, from what I hear, and how is that coming along?
Yeah, well, we're using the old Grin tech, the diesel engine, and the diesel engine supports both 360 and the PS3 formats. So, I mean, the game is running on 360 at the moment, without any problems. But we're still in the process of discussing with Microsoft how and when it's going to be released on 360. I can't give you a date at the moment. Man, I wish I could, because it's been like a quite lengthy process now, but unfortunately I don't have a date for the 360, but we are working on it 24 hours.
I have no doubt. Well, I know Microsoft historically is not always easy to deal with, because there are a lot of requirements to get released on the 360. So
yeah, no, they're quite a big actor on the scene, and so they can sort of call the shots.
yeah, they are. Well, let's talk a little bit about the competitive aspects of the game, because that has gotten a lot of attention. Because, to be honest, I think a lot of us here in the United States, I think what caught our attention to the game was honestly, hearing about it. I know a lot of us here heard about it at first because Valve Steam talked about it, and then the genre was so interesting, people started playing it, and word of mouth started to spread. And a lot of people have actually said a lot of good things about it, from PC Format to PC Gamer, G4 TV, IGN. Everyone's really, I think, has found a sort of a warm spot for this game. Tell us how that has that surprised you at all, or how that has unfolded?
I mean, it's always like nervous. I mean, you're nervous when you put out a new game and you don't know how it's going to be received. And I mean, I knew it was a good game. When you play it, it's actually grows on you and you say, hey, this is fun. So, but then, I mean, nowadays it doesn't really, it's enough to just release a good game. You need to have like a bit of timing, a bit of luck. And we're having awesome help from our PR department as well. But the game itself it really lends it well for when you look at how media has the possibility to try a game, because it's like the game only needs 10-15 minutes to actually captivate the player, which is, I mean, obviously when you sit for a press show of the game, you might have like half an hour or an hour to show the game's strengths, and this game format really managed to do that in that amount of time. So I think that, I mean, it's a combination of a format that is media friendly, or like pick up and play friendly, and a good game itself.
I like to be always ask every producer, and I think it's a good time to talk about some of the challenges. What have been some of the challenges, not so much early in development, but now, because I think for every development team, launch is always a difficult process, and I think it's gotten more and more difficult with pressures that happen. Talk about some of the challenges and how you're working through them.
I mean, we're a small team. I mean, we are a team like half the size of a normal like AA title team. So, and then also releasing and trying to support at least 2 platforms at the moment. It puts some strains on the team. And we also had our goals set very high to be able to listen to the gaming community, have a forum up and running, and really try to see what the players wanted, how we could take the game the next through patching and DLCs and stuff. So we've been forced to really be disciplined, because it's so easy when you release the game and people start shouting from left and right, do this, and this doesn't work, especially on PC with so many formats. So we really had to keep our heads cool and not just jump on any issue that came up, and try to focus on what we think is the most important aspects for the game, and what we believe the players will be gaining the most from. So I think the issue of prioritizing is and keeping cool when people are, yelling at you and from all parts of the internet world.
Forums can be a very cruel place, can't they?
Yeah, definitely. So, that's I would say the bigger challenge for the team as a whole, to keep the game up and running on 2 formats, as I said, to make sure that we have a PC version that is feeling true to the format, and a PlayStation 3 format version that also stays true to format is another challenge. And in the same time, I mean, start to be able to start working on expanding the title keeping focused on what's on around the corner, like not getting stuck in the titles as it is now, to be able to expand it.
What would you say is up next? What is your main focus right now as far as Lead and Gold goes?
Coming in a short time is the dedicated service, which is something we'll be really working hard to get, and we're really pushing hard to get it out as soon as possible. And I believe that would be like a great addition to the game, the PC game.
I think, if I may interrupt, I was going to say, I think that's the one thing that will give it credibility in the competitive arena, because without dedicated servers, I think it would be very difficult to get that competitive community to buy into it. A time frame, maybe? Are we looking at months, weeks for dedicated servers?
Definitely not months. I would rather say weeks. We do have we did some tests of the dedicated servers this week, but we want to make sure that it's more or less bug-free before we release it. But without giving you any dates, I would say a couple of weeks maximum.
That would be excellent, though. I think a lot of people would be excited about that. I know there's been some talk about how a lobby system would work. Is there any talk about a lobby system that allow people to switch teams and things like that in the future?
Yeah, we actually have even now there's a functionality which is, I mean, it's sort of half implemented, because you can actually switch teams through the team chat window, but we're working on having everything set up in the graphical interface as well, to make sure that you can switch teams during the match, and also have so you can see who's playing what in the team and stuff. So I'm sure that we will have a major update. I'm not sure if we're going to do it the same time as we release the dedicated servers, or if it's coming prior or after that, but there will be a major update to that whole lobby system as well.
Well, I know VVV Gaming is going to be interested in seeing those dedicated servers up, and then possibly hosting tournaments. Let me ask this question. When you first were going through the beta and you started getting community feedback, did you always envision this as a game that people would play competitively? Did you see it much more for casual fun? And what do you think of the idea of tournaments around Lead and Gold?
Yeah, we would be thrilled having tournaments of Lead and Gold. That would be really awesome to see. I mean, I would never be able to participate in one because I'm not really that good at the game, but it would be really fun to see people. I mean, still today, so first time we went live on Steam, in the Steam beta, and you logged in and you actually saw people whooping your ass and in the game. It was like I guess when you see your children grows up or something start rebel against you. Now, I mean, it was great fun, and I could never really. I mean, we always had the aspect that we want to make a game that were catered for online gaming, competitive gaming, but then we couldn't really be sure of that we had all the ingredients that would make a good multiplayer game. I mean, we were really careful about balancing the classes and stuff, so we had our hopes up, but we wasn't like totally confident in how it was going to be received by the competitive game.
I know when I first started, I think a lot of us were very unsure about the Trapper sniper rifle, and then with a major change, all of a sudden I think it really brought the class into a position that was really useful. You want to talk about how the Trapper class developed from the original to the sniper rifle and the way it aims now, how that developed?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was pure a beta feedback thing, because we had like a more traditional sniper setup before. And, well, when you stop playing the game and you do internal tests on the office, and we had like quite a few testing sessions here during night where we had like friends coming over or like gamers from Sweden. But I mean, you never had that really competitive feeling to the test to really make sure, I mean, to find all these things that would possibly break or class so that was something we found out during the beta test, or that was pointed out to us in the forums, and we decided to let's implement this the way people wants it, and it turned out quite good actually.
It really did. I have to agree. When an announcement was going to come that the change was going to be made, didn't really know what to expect. And I still know now people would say they give it, because of that sniper rifle upgrade, I feel like you get a lot of comparisons to Team Fortress 2 because of it. Is that flattering? Were you surprised? What do you think of that?
Well, it's really flattering because, Team Fortress 2 is sort of the standard, the gaming standard that we're trying to compare ourselves to. If we could reach that level of balance, fun, good implementation, we would be really happy with our efforts. So that's really flattering, and we would be kidding ourselves if we didn't say that we've been looking quite a lot on both Team Fortress 2, but even other multiplayer games that's out on the market when we've been developing, letting go.
Absolutely. Let me ask about the future sort of marketing of the game. What do you see? And I know you can't talk about all the strategies, but what do you see as the general marketing strategy for the game moving forward?
Well, I think we need to, because we will never be able to compare ourselves to big titles. When we talk about Western titles, the Red Dead Redemption that comes up now, obviously Rockstar has another marketing budget than us, so I think we need to really focus on the niche that we found in form of competitive gaming, and we will try to be present at I know in Sweden we have this big event called DreamHack, which is the biggest LAN event in the world.
If anyone is in competitive gaming, they know what DreamHack is. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna try to be present at all those happenings, gatherings, events, and really carve ourselves a little spot in the multiplayer community, and trying to stay focused and listen to what the community wants to make sure that we have a title that might not be the biggest one, but is at least lives long enough to really develop to a great game.
When I go through your forums, and I think that everybody feels it from the beginning, that somehow, and it's rare for that to happen, I believe that the forums, when you read them, people really do feel that you listen to them. And I think it's very hard for a developer today to actually convince people, and because, like you said, you get screamed at from so many directions, but a lot of people really do feel that you listen, and I have to agree, it does feel that way. What do you do so successfully? How is it the moderators? Is it the language? How do you, because it seems a lot of people are very comfortable that you do listen and make those changes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. One thing I think it could be that, for instance, Paradox as our publisher is really easygoing. They don't really give us a lot of hassle of what can be said, what can be not said, and we have this, bigger publishers might put more rules and regulations for the developer of, this is our target audience and this is what we're going to say, and you must not speak about this and you must promote this. We are giving free hands, and when we can just, actually participate in the discussions of the forums, which is, I think is one key to the impression, or our ability to, or possibility to actually be involved in the forums for real. And then, a lot of us are really, since it's our own IP, we've been building it as our own baby. We really take a keen interest in, even when you get home from work, you log into the forums, you try to stay alert and see what people think, which is something I think comes from having the whole team really being, what you said, happy about the title. It's our own. You feel for it, sort of.
Yeah, I guess the passion is definitely there. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, passionate. That was the word I was looking for.
Absolutely. Let me ask this question, Robert, because everybody who comes on the show, I always want to get to know a little bit about their background. If you don't mind sharing, tell us a little bit about you, about your own career, and maybe something personal about family or other hobbies, or a little bit about you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks. As you already knew, Robert is my name. I'm 34 now. I've been working in the computer game industry for 6 years. 5 actually. 5 or 6 depending on how you count. I started out as a game writer, story writer for a MMO that never hit the market, but quite soon turned out to came into the production side of the business, which I enjoy quite well. Previously, I had my computer game experience has been narrowed down to one game, EVE Online. I'm not sure if you.
Absolutely, of course, EVE.
Yeah. Which as most MMO games tend to take up all your time. I must say that the last 5 years, while I played EVE Online, I didn't have much other time to spend on other games. So, but I quit the drug of EVE Online last year to be able to to do something else in my spare time. Besides that, I've been playing a lot of role-playing games, like pen and paper role-playing games and stuff, which that was what gave me the idea to start working with computer games.
If you don't mind me asking, as a pen and paper role-playing gamer, what are some of your favorite pen and paper role-playing games?
I would say that Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game is the whole setting, the whole mood is an old favorite of mine. But then, I've been playing my fair share of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons as well. So I would say those two are my favorites.
Well, as a pen and paper role-playing gamer, I have a recommendation I'll share with you when you get a chance. There's a science fiction pen and paper role-playing game called Alpha Omega. If you get a chance to look up Alpha Omega, it's a tiny little gem that started about 2 years ago. I would take a look at it if you get a chance. It's a fascinating world with some pretty creative and smart guys. In many ways, now that I think about it, the way they've developed that IP and the way they've sort of set up their future, I think you would be very interested both in the setting, but more so in the way they've really been smart about, the way they've created this IP. So if you get a chance, you can probably Google it, Alpha Omega RPG, and take a look at it. And then maybe in a future show, we can not only talk about some more lead and gold and hopefully dedicated servers and tournaments, but if you get a chance, you give me an update and tell me what you think.
Yeah, I must do. Alpha Omega, I'm going to look it up.
I was going to also ask you in regards to the future for Lead and Gold too. If you were to say one thing that surprised you the most as far as the community feedback you've gotten, what would you say that would be?
Most surprising, the community involvement in the game. That not only we adopted the title while we developed it, but the amount of people on the forums that really care for the game was something I could never really expected prior to the release. And it's what if you feel like you don't want to go to work one morning, just look at the forums and you see people not only praising the game, but also giving feedback and, hey, do this, do that. That's something I could never thought of before we released the game.
That's what I think when you mentioned the freedom that Paradox Interactive gives you. I think one of the most amazing things about developing ideas today is how easy it is to get all of this fantastic input.
Yeah.
It seems amazing, and it's all free and you don't have to pay for it and there's no consultant. It's just everyone's willing to share their opinion. And, if you can sift through the stuff that you don't need and pay attention to the really, it's like they're diamonds in the rough, these gems of ideas that, someone who's played the games thought of. I always think that's a fantastic, rich environment for any developer.
Yeah, and definitely. I mean, you practically get a QA, like 24/7 QA going through the game, like for as long as it's active. So nowadays it's not just like releasing a game on a disc and then it's finished. You actually have a continuously evolving product, which I believe is the key to success today with a game is that you are able to, as you said, find the diamonds in the feedback and create patches, DLCs that actually involves those diamonds.
Well, let's hope that in the future for Lead and Gold there are many diamonds to come. I look forward to those dedicated servers. So I want our audience to know that we have been honored to have you, Robert Bäckström, the producer of Lead and Gold, on our show, and we hope that we can invite you back here in the next month or two and talk more about Lead and Gold. And I really wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thanks. Thanks the same. It's been a pleasure being on the show, and I'll be happy to be back in a month's time, and we'll discuss the feedback on the dedicated servers that hopefully and most probably will be up at that time, and see what we can improve on that feature and talk about any new things to come for the game.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Robert. I look forward to it.
So earlier we were talking about Empire Arcadia, Triforce, all those guys. I just heard a bit of news earlier that everyone's favorite Resident Valkyrie, CG, everyone knows her online as Starslayer, left Empire Arcadia. I think that they finally parted ways. Unfortunately, CG has not parted her ways with Drama, however, and there's quite a bit of beef going on between her and Annie Leung. Everyone knows her as Ecstasy in the Guitar Hero community. Kelly, you want to give us a little bit of a rundown?
Well, basically it started a couple weeks ago with, WCG Beyond the Games Twitter asking if there was going to be a Ecstasy versus Starslayer matchup. And the response was pretty funny. I took it. I giggled. And Annie just said, I'll be there, but she'll be watching from the sidelines. And then Starslayer replied as to, I would never plan that game. It's just too easy. And I'll leave it at that because it starts to go into a big argument.
No. Let me have my word on this. Let me have my word on this because
I didn't think it was easy.
Well, the game Guitar Hero 5 is, without a shadow of a doubt, the easiest of the competitive games to grace the circuit thus far. But wouldn't that work to CG's advantage? Because, let's be honest here, everyone knows Annie's better. Everyone knows she's a better player. If CG was so mad that it was an easy game, she should just be able to take one for the team, so to say, practice these songs, learn the star power to them, and play. Because she's got the best chance of winning that she'll ever have. That's the way I see it, at least. If the songs are easy, it's going to be about who's more consistent, unless she doesn't feel like she has what it takes, which, hey, that could be it too.
Well, I don't want to, come down on one side or the other, because one, I'm not a rhythm gamer, and two, I don't know CG. For one, I don't know Annie. I don't know either person personally, but I'm gonna call it exactly how I see it. Annie is 100% right. Well, let me tell you this right now. If Kelly, who was in the World Cyber Games as Mrs. Violence, who I love dearly, started running around and telling everyone she was one of the best multi-genre gamers, I would have sat her down, and that image is not an image you should have, Kelly, and here's why. And I let it go. I mean, we've picked on Prodigy. I don't want to say anything about, CG, but that kind of bullshit multi-genre gamer, I have to give Annie credit for calling it out. You suck. CG, Prodigy, you suck. I just want you to know you are one of those people that the only reason you're deluded, and this is another reason I don't like Empire Arcadia, is it's about the hype, not about the reality. And while so many of us are trying to establish real, legitimate esports with people who are absolutely at the top of their particular title, you become almost the reality TV that everyone hates. Like, don't get me wrong. Looking at Prodigy and those goofy multicolored contacts, looking at CG and the way she sort of hypes herself and talks about herself, you're great in that sort of like Jerry Springer kind of great. You know, you're the kind of person that it's like a train wreck. You can't really help but turn your head to see what's going on. But to actually, like, the scary part is I do think CG and Prodigy believe that they are good gamers, that they are at the top of their game, that they are somebody. But you are not anyone. The best thing you could do is probably go away. Just fade away. And one final thing, for CG, for you could be someone who could have a positive impact on the role of women in competitive gaming. The way Annie has clearly demonstrated her skill. But you know what you do? You add to making it a joke. You don't do this thinking about the greater good you could be doing, right? You know, I think Annie said it best. She really did. She said, you know, this isn't about dyeing your hair every color of the rainbow and being a Hot Topic fanboy. Nothing to do with tattoos, piercings, colored contacts, right? That they're nothing more than posers, right? If they can't back it up with skill. And in the case with CG, in the case with Prodigy, there is one common denominator here, and it's Empire Arcadia. It's the same bullshit from Real Law. I'm telling you all of this right now. He talks about fighting GM, NYC Fab, leaving his homeboys, coming here, right, coming here into VV Gaming. He didn't bring any players with him and then blamed it on Empire Arcadia. But when VV Gaming didn't want to pay for his ticket, he's 30 years old. He immediately runs to Facebook and starts posting and crying. And I think to myself, how does that happen? What's the common denominator in all this? Empire Arcadia. Why? Because Triforce, who thinks he's like generating some hype about hip-hop stars, misses that unlike selling bad musicians who in some ways have an image, this really needs skilled players at the top of their game. And I think Annie's 100% right. I do.
Why can't we just like play games? You know, like nobody does this. Well, not nobody, but so many people don't do this just to be good at it. You know, like there's no such thing as a multi-genre gamer at that level. Those are called casual gamers. They can just pick up a game and play it. Now, if you happen to be good at a game that you work at really hard all the time, and then you happen to be good at something else like Halo or, you know, whatever, checkers, whatever the hell it may be, that's fine. But like you can't do that and assume that you're going to have that same skill in one game and go to another and then say that that makes you better.
Well, I mean, I think you hit on something important, though. I mean, a lot of people often say, no, well, VV Gaming often caters to the casual gamer. What you call a casual gamer, I call our fan base. But to give those players credit, they're all multi-genre gamers. They have a great wide interest in a great many games. But then to all of a sudden, like, if one of them sort of stood up and said, oh, you know, look at me, I'm a great multi-genre gamer. If the World Cyber Games tried to coin that phrase, and I want to make sure that I have not seen any evidence that the World Cyber Games is trying to coin a multi-genre gamer. But to have people that were on that show try to like create this label, again, I think Annie's right. Call it out. I think you're right too, Dakota. There are a lot of great multi-genre gamers in there. They happen to be our fans, casuals. They're great at many games. But to be at the top of a particular game takes a lot of work. And it's insulting to have somebody like Prodigy or CG out there making it seem like they're gifted with some, you know, paranormal skill that makes them special, when in reality it's a lot of sweat and hard work that gets someone to the top.
Absolutely, Jerry. And Annie is the epitome of all of that. She does work hard for what she believes in. She tells everyone every day, you know, how she's practicing, and she puts out videos showing that she can FC a lot of the songs, and then she attends national tournaments and ranks fairly high at all of them. And she just does a great job representing herself, organization and all the female gamers out there that, have the stereotype that can't be pretty and play video games and stuff like that, as pathetic as those are. But she just does a great job, and I've always, looked upon her as a great fellow gamer.
I know Annie has finals next week, so but maybe after her finals, I'd love to have Annie on the show, and maybe we could continue this.
I'd love that. I think that'd be really cool. As long as she doesn't bring up, how she beat me at the WCG finals last year, rub that in my I'm just kidding.
Get ripped!
Get ripped!
Oh,
Poor Jason.
Hey, we split it 1-1, but
Who's counting?
Who's counting?
Keeping track? Who's remembering?
I gotta put the ice on my bruised ego here. Come on, guys.
hey. There's a Rage Against the Machine song from Guitar Hero 3 I can play on like medium, so fuck you guys are talking about. I'm good at that.
Oh, call her out. Call Annie out. I know she won't dodge you. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
go.
sure she won't.
Call her out.
I'm playing on medium. Let's go.
Well, Jason, Kelly, Dakota, this looks like it brings us to the end of the show. I want to remind everyone that they get $5 off as a player registering for Devastation. You can use it whether you're going to be just a regular player or VIP registration. So use the discount code VVVGaming2010. Again, thanks to Jedi Rob and the team over at Devastation for that. And as always, I want to thank Crash and the Gamers Garage for hosting the show. It's been fantastic. I haven't said thank you in a long time to SteelSeries, Control Freak, MusicSkins.com, and Custom Ink. I want to say thanks to all of them. To the VV community, I just bought a new car. I've had a busy week working. I've been helping the U.S. Census Bureau, and I'm a busy man. And I want to thank you all for your feedback and support. And I want to remind everybody to sure to stop over at thegamersgarage.com. And you guys already know how to follow us on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter. And I want to remind you, the Gamers Garage also has other great podcasts. So don't just stop at the Losers Bracket. Look at the other podcasts. There's really some good stuff out there. You can leave us feedback by calling our voicemail at 206-350-7352. And I know we have a call, but we're going to save it for next week. So based on that, I'm going to say have a good weekend, enjoy, and happy Mother's Day.
Bye, everyone.